Hey guys, so we're out here on my back porch with the new smoker. It is an offset smoker. I want to reveal it to you, kind of walk you through what I like, what I don't like, and then we're going to go ahead and get it seasoned up for you. So let's take the cover off this. So it is a old country barbecue pit. It is the Pecos series. They do have two other series. They have the Wrangler and they also have the Abrazos. The Wrangler is a little bit shorter, but it has a little bit thicker doors on the smoker and the firebox, and it also has a top grate that's only like 6 inches wide. I decided to go with the larger bottom grate so I can do more briskets, because that's what I like. So the top grate is just under 36 inches long and 17 inches wide. Again, we can get 2 good briskets on here, several racks of ribs or several chickens, or a couple butts, depending on what you're looking to cook. It does have this shelf that pops up, locks down. Seems like it's pretty sturdy. On the lid, it's got 2 ports that you can put in a thermometer. I put my thermometer down a little bit lower, closer to the grate. I will eventually look into getting another thermometer and moving this one down here and putting a second one on this end, so I can kind of get more of an idea of what my temperature is, closer to the grate and all the way across my cooking chamber. On the firebox, it again has a removable grate. It's 17 by 17, enough to be cooking a couple hamburgers and stuff on top of. Inside of the firebox, it also has this wood plate. I'm probably going to just take this out and just cook straight off of the bottom of the fire pit. The coals will fall through here, get it clogged up, and then it will actually prevent the airflow from getting to the coals once you get a good fire going for a while. So, but it does have it just in case you want it. So I'm going to take the camera, I'm going to kind of walk you through a little bit closer and tell you what I think about the construction and the pluses and minuses of the actual smoker. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm going to start off with the firebox. If you notice, when the door is closed, there is a gap down here. Now I picked the best out of like 4 smokers there. I wasn't too concerned about this one. Now just so you know, I did spray it down with oil. I was getting ready to season it, but figured I'd do this first. So anyway, so getting back to the construction, so this top stop, this top piece of metal, it's actually kicked out a little bit. So when they did the welding on it, it's pushed out a little, which is preventing the door from really getting a good, closing tight, which is okay. Like I said, I mean, the idea is you want airflow into it, so that may or may not be a major issue. I'll probably bend that in later, just so that when I'm not using it, I don't have to worry about it. And then, so anyway, so there's that. And if we open it up, again, there's oil in the bottom and some charcoal pieces. Like I said, I was getting ready to season it, but the grate slides upon these 2 bars here, and it's got a little thing to keep it for when it's all the way out, it won't tip on you. But plenty of room for this fire that I'm going to be using. Don't have a huge smoker, so it's definitely bigger than my last smoker. But again, looking down here, you got a kind of a big gap, and it doesn't quite go all the way down. This side is a lot better. Let me get up here. So this side's a lot better, but again, you got a gap here. So I'm actually going to buy some gasket for grills and smokers, and I'm going to actually run it all the way around the inside of both the firebox and the smoke chamber. So coming over to the smoke chamber, again, you got a place for 2 thermometers. Again, I'm probably going to add 1 on each side, and there's the badge for the Old Country barbecue pits. It's got a pretty good heavy duty hinge and then a stop bar for both lids. Now if we open it up, again, plenty of room. It does have a baffle or a plate to protect the meat that's on this side from the fire itself. And then if we come over to the smokestack, I'm going to grab my tape measure real fast. It's got a pretty large smokestack here. I mean, it measures outside about 5.5 inches, so, and inside about 5.25 inches. However, if you come down inside here, that hole actually only measures about 4 inches. So you're not getting the max volume out of it. So I may come in, take my grinder and just try to open this hole up just a little bit more. I'll see how it actually works, see how it flows before I start cutting into it. But I mean, I don't know, for this size, 4-inch hole might be enough. We'll see. And then the other thing is the smokestack is kind of short. I wouldn't mind it to be another 1 or 2 foot high, but that will be for another day. Now coming to the underside. Alright, so here's my drip pan. You can kind of see the oil that I'm using inside. It's already dripping out of it. Now I did have to buy the pan separately. It looks like it's about a 3/4 of an inch hole. We'll see if that works. If not, I might open it up a little bit more and put an actual valve or downspout on that. But we'll see. It does have a nice sturdy tray. I'll probably keep some of my wood here that I'm getting ready to use. I'll stage it here, put it on top of the firebox before I stick it in the firebox, just to kind of preheat it and get it handy. All in all, it's pretty sturdy. The welds do look pretty good on it. It's just those few spots around the doors and the firebox door that I kind of want to address pretty soon. But anyway, so that's kind of an up-close overview of the Old Country Barbecue Pits, Pecos. So I'm going to get ready to start to season it now. So another reason why I like this particular smoker versus some of the others that you might get from the big box store or that you see around is the fact that the smokestack comes out at grate level instead of coming out at the top. This allows the smoke to travel through the chamber, across the meat, and out the stack versus coming in the chamber, over the meat, and then out. So this helps draw that smoke across the meat, and I'll show you inside. Alright, so I went and got some light. So as you can see, that opening is right here at grate level. So that helps the smoke come across the meat and go under and back out at the same level as the grate, so that it helps surround the meat with smoke, giving it a better smoke flavor versus traveling across the top and then out the back. So that's one reason why I went with this particular smoker. All right, to season it, I'm going to open everything up. Take the grates out. I want to wash these, soap and water, and then oil them up before I stick them back in. I've already got the grate out of the firebox. And then I just take some vegetable oil. You can use canola oil or any cooking oil that you want. Not motor oil, cooking oil. Spray down the inside, get it nice and lubricated. The idea is when you put the fire on it, it's going to kind of cook into the metal and help prevent your pit from rusting. You probably want to do this probably once a year or so, just to kind of keep it in good working order. So again, just a spray bottle, heavy duty spray bottle, just spray it down real good. Inside the lid, inside the firebox, inside the smoke chamber, anywhere that is going to see the heat. So once you do that, we're going to start a fire. Alright, so I got it oiled up. I'm going to go ahead and start my fire. I just got my chimney full of the leftover pieces from one bag of lump charcoal. Underneath, I just got paper with more vegetable oil sprayed on it to kind of help get it lit. We're going to let that chimney get hot, nice and hot, and then we'll come back and go from there. Alright guys, so it's been on for about 30 minutes now or so. The temperature's still coming up. It's reading at 250, which when I actually came out like a minute or two ago, it was like a 225, so that's good. It's still coming up. You can kind of see the smoke is cleared out. It's not nearly as wide as it used to be, but I am still getting a lot of smoke coming from the top part of this lid and even from around the firebox lid. So when I put that gasket on there, I'm really hoping that's going to improve and stop that smoke leakage. That way it gets it all coming out the chimney. So I'm going to open up the firebox, take a look inside, see how it's going. Open up the smoker, check it out on the inside, and then maybe spray it down one good time with some water now that it's nice and hot, kind of steam clean it, close everything back up, let it sit, dry out, and then I may put some more oil in there and then really crank this fire up to get it good and seasoned. So I'll bring you over to the firebox. Alright, so let's take a look inside. You can see that fire is going pretty good inside there. I'll tilt it a little bit. So I did add 2 logs of firewood inside on top of those coals, and it's going pretty good. I can't complain about that at all. So we'll open up the main chamber. Alright, so let's open up the main chamber. Looks pretty good. Looks like a lot of that oil it's still there. It's still kind of clinging to everything, but we're going to spray it down with some water, clean it out real good. Alright, we're going to close it down. And I'll probably restoke that fire, get it good and hot again, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so I've let it set for a little while. I want to bring you in and let you look at this thermometer, and we're also going to take a look at that fire and see what we can do to kind of get this to where we want it to be. So let me grab the camera. Sorry about that. Alright, so if you look here, we're at 400 plus degrees, and that is way higher than we want to be. We want to keep our temperature somewhere between the 250, 300 range. But like I said earlier, we're seasoning this, so I really wanted to crank it up. And now we get to play with the temperature to see exactly what we can do to even this out. So, alright, just to kind of show you how hot this thing is, this little fire tool was actually sitting on the bottom down there where that wood is. And it's so hot I can barely hold it with my hand. So time to put a glove on. So let's take a look inside this firebox. So when I first walked up here, it was raging a lot more than that, but it's died down quite a bit. So I'm hoping I'm hoping with just this one log we can kind of control that temperature a little better. The log that was laying crossways was engulfed in flames as well, but it looks like it's actually broke up and fallen into the ash pit or the coal pit. So that looks good. So let's go ahead and close this back up. And then as we look here, I'll move this light around a little bit. You can see everything's got a nice shiny black tint to it from the oil soaking in. Even the grate is a lot darker than what it was. So that's what we want. We want that nice shiny surface to help protect it. And I even did the inside of the smokestack, so to help protect that as well. So we're going to let this thing cool down. We're going to put the cover back on it, and we're going to wrap it up and call it a night. Thank you for joining me on this video. It was fun to go over this information as we prepared the smoker for its first use. We ask that you will join us in the future as we continue to make videos on how to use this smoker, and hopefully you can learn some tricks as I learn them, and we can produce great barbecue together. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.